rolling.
Okay, so we started the massage sequence here at the Massage Workshop on April 28th, 2012. We're going to get to the left side of a woman, the right side of a man to start. And we're going to bring our healing intention in to bring in healing energies for the person beneath our hands. We're going to stroke at the top of the sacrum and C7, the big bone, the big vertebrae. We're going to just gently stroke back and forth just to connect to the body. This is a nice relaxing move. We're going to go from there to rocking, body rocking, up and down. Keeping the hands about equidistant all the way down at about the same distance as they started with the stroke. Down to the foot, a few rocks there, and coming back up. Keeping the body in constant motion. Just giving little pushes into the body, keeping the body rocking. My hands are in constant contact. Push, slide, push, slide, push, slide. Switch sides, same thing. Yeah, so I'm not like pushing and letting go. I'm holding contact on the body the whole time. I might come up with my hand as it crosses over the butt, come up against the sacrum all the way down, and you can kind of push on the fleshy part too. When I complete that, come up here. I'm going to do a move that I didn't do this morning. I'm going to come up with the heels of my hands. I'm going to press down on the sacrum. I'm heading that way, heels of my hands on either side of the sacrum. I'm just doing what's called traction. Just basically, I got my feet together. I'm leaning out over my hands, and I'm pressing down. At some point, like B has a lot of flexibility in her hips. They're pretty loose right now, so my hands are immediately going down. Her hips are dropping. Sometimes for people who are really held in their hips, it takes a while of holding the traction before, and eventually the hips do release and they start to let go. And you can feel the hips, the muscles let go, and your hands start to slide. But basically they're not slipping, the person's hips are moving down. And once that happens, I draw my hands up, sliding up the body, take down the covering. Oh, if they're wearing underwear, I take the underwear down to the top of the crack. Oil. Don't need a lot of oil. Start right there. Either side, between the scapulas. Run the hands down, fingertips, fleshy part of the fingertips, beware your fingernails, even if they're cut. Start to let them ride the contours of the hips. Rather than dig your fingernails in, you ride the contours of the hips so your fingertips keep in touch with the skin. Spread out to the side and down. Come up, circle the hips, come up and meet the hands on either side of the spine. Start to pull back. This is effleurage. Come down, push into the trapezius. I'm pushing in, turning my hands a little bit. Drag my hands up underneath, along the trapezius. You can come up underneath, lift a little bit if you want, and then just curve along the contours. Follow the artistry of the body. Come up under the occiput, let your hands trail off the hair. I'm going to show you a move that I do right away after I do that move that I forgot to show this morning. I come up, and just like that move we did here, which is later on, I'm going to do this on either side of the back. Hands, palms up, legs spread, knees bent. I'm going to push to the outside. Either side of the scapula, my elbows are touching the scapula. I'm not really digging into my elbows though. I'm turning my forearms. coming down along the sides. And I just do that once. And I slide back again. Oh, with the effleurage, I'll do another round. I might do 2 rounds if I'm just applying oil, because the second round I might, my hands might be a little bit splayed, a little bit more spread out to get the oil down the sides of the back. The thumbs then still come along the back straps, along the erectors, just down below the iliac crest, the iliac line, the top of the hips, into the fleshy part, top of the gluteus, with my fingertips. Come down, hook the hips, slide up, getting the oil out, all the way out to the edge, cupping underneath, and coming back up like that. Now I'm going to slide down. Right hands, I'm going to work on her left side first. She's a woman. I'm going to work with the left-hand side of the body, the feminine side of the body. I'm going to come down, hand on hand. Heel of the hand and the fingertips are mostly what's touching. Tiny cup in the hand as I go down. Press in. Keeping my shoulders and fingertips in alignment at all times. So I'm coming down, my shoulders are lined up with my fingertips. My back is staying straight as I move. As I start to make the curve around her hips, I bring my body to the side. I'm keeping my shoulders in alignment with the fingertips. I come down. I'm going to press the heel of my hand. My hands together still. I press my hands together. I come down. I hook the hip. Fingertips. I'm going to pull back. My shoulders and fingertips are in alignment. I'm pulling back along the curve of the hip. And I'm working the fleshy part just on the inside of the hip back to where the spine and the iliac crest meet. And then I'm going to do another round of that. Fingertips giving way to the heel of the hand. Pressing out onto the hip. Cupping now. Pulling back. Letting my shoulders do the work, not my hands. And I come into that little L joint. And I start to rock, tiny zigzags, little pressure on my fingertips. Don't want to dig in with the fingernails. Keeping my shoulders, watch my shoulders follow my hands. So I stay in alignment. I get to the top of the spine. And I get ready, I slide my leg out, I get ready to follow the contour of the body, trapezius. I'm going to press with the palm of my hand out to the edge of the fleshy part of the shoulder where we hit the bone, slide off, come back, and pull alongside the subscapularis, tracing a circle now, just like we did at the hip. We're going to trace a circle around the scapula. You can do a little bit of zigzag there, or you can just drag it, either way. And come around and do it again. And when I finish that second round, I'm going to get ready for the pressure. The way we taught it was we did the same thing on the right side.
It might be better for the video if you actually did the right side.
Good point.
Yeah.
So let's imagine we did that again. I'll do it again for the camera. No, not that. So we're going to slide down the body. Fingertips on fingertips, hand on hand, heel on heel. Get down to the end and start following the contour. Keeping my shoulders and fingertips in alignment, swivel my body over, come down with the heel of the hand, come underneath and hook the hip, come back, follow the line of the body, imagine art, following the line of the body, so I'm staying in alignment with the body, and I'm pulling at an angle because the hip curves down into that L point right in here. Pull back. And we get ready to make another circle. Zigzag up the spine, up the erector. My feet are on the move. My shoulders are following my hands. Now I finished my second circle up here, so it's really, you know, it's balanced. I do 2 circles down here, I come up and I do 2 circles this way. Now I'm ready for the fascial press, the myofascial release along to the scapula. Pushing outward, don't press down on the spine as you go. Make sure you don't give pressure on the heels of the hands until you get past the spine. Push out toward the scapula and circle the scapula, keeping on the fleshy part. Pushing out to the end, letting your hands slide off. Getting ready for the next stroke, same stroke, but it's down lower. So your upper hand is now below the line of the scapula. It's right along adjacent to it. I let this move go out to my wrists. I turn my hands up. I've got the backs of my forearms against the fleshy part of her back on the far side of her spine. I turn my forearms, go out to the edge, over the iliac crest, over the scapula, fleshy part, turning over to the fleshy part of the forearm. Same stroke. I've done the first strip of the back that way. I'm going to do this strip now. Keeping my back as straight as possible. I don't want to be leaning way over like that. I want to keep my back straight as much as possible while accessing the area. Turning the forearms 180 degrees. And now I'm ready. I'm always leading one move into the next, so my hands are ready for the next move at this point. We go alongside above the breast line. Get below the breast, you can start to grab further underneath. You go along the intercostals, in between the ribs. Pulling the ribs go at an angle, so you want to follow the lines of the body. Have your body in alignment with your hands. Have your legs such that you've got certain bends to accommodate what you need to do to keep your body straight. Go down to the hip, hand over hand, overlapping. Spreading your fingers to follow the lines of the ribs, going in between the ribs. Get up, finish that move, down and up, and we slide over, ready for panther paws, or windshield wiper. And now I'm going to follow the lines of my hands with my shoulders. This is a bit of a belly dance move, kind of with the hips just going out, back and forth, just kind of sensuous. Always in motion, steady, slow. Your next hand is ready. Before you complete that stroke, your hand's in position for the next stroke. Watching for the hair, brushing hair out of the way as it straggles down into the pull zone. Hand, then we go to the edge of the hand. Edge, same motion, but you're going a little bit deeper now with the edges of the hand. Edge to palm, edge to palm. And then we're going to move over so we can work the trapezius from here. My shoulders are in alignment with my fingertips. I'm pulling back with the top. I'll work this side for the camera. So I'm using the top 2 joints of my fingers. I'm occasionally getting in there with a little roll against the palm of the hand, getting the whole fleshy part of the trapezius involved in a squeeze. Pressure okay?
Mm-hmm.
Rubbing back and forth, a little squeeze. You can switch sides and do the other side. Now, one thing I'm going to show you for the next move on the neck is we're going to do back of the knuckles. Back of the knuckles against the edge of the spine, not really touching the spine, but right up adjacent. I'm going to rub out. It's the same thing as the panther pause where I'm moving out to follow the line of my shoulder to my hand. I follow my knuckles going out. This knuckle is rubbing. Going a little deeper into trapezius now. Rubbing out only on the flesh. If you're rubbing on bone, you're in the wrong position. You're in the wrong place. You want to make sure you're low enough that you're not rubbing up on top of the scapula here. You can then move down with you can move to the flat part of your hand, between the bottom knuckle and the middle knuckle. You can do a move where it allows you to get a little lower down on the trapezius, and then you kind of pivot your hand so you're going out to the edge. You're getting your body in alignment. You're going out to the edge. You're just sliding off. So those are the last two moves on the trapezius. And we're going to come down and I'm going to do a little bit of a palms out on the backs, on the erectors, right up and down. I'm going to do the palms on the opposite side of the spine from where you're standing. Down, up. This is a bit more vigorous, more like what people know as sports massage. So you're kind of, I'm pushing, it's almost like kneading bread. I'm pushing with my heels and my hands, and I'm gripping a little bit here, but not really, it's not really the focus. The focus is right here. And I'll do that a couple times, and then I'll spread my hands, come down, just place my top hand right where we started the massage, right in the back of the neck. This hand is just going to do circles. 1, 2, 3. We're pushing out and circling on the erector. And the lower back, we give a lower back massage this way. 1, 2, 3. Move down a little bit. 1, 2, 3. Lower back 1, because we haven't really focused on the lower back yet, except for the very first move. 3. We get right down. You can start to feel the bone here, so you want to get inside the bone. You angle a little bit. 1, 2, 3. And you can switch sides, do the same thing on the other side. Just coming down. Up and down. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we're gonna close the back for now. Finish with an effleurage. So the moves we haven't done, we did some review there. We did a couple new moves. The moves we haven't done, you're going to start at your top of your receiver's head.
Recording.
Chris has got the best view from up there. He's got the balcony view. Yeah, it's a balcony view.
So we've got just the tuck in. We're exposing a diagonal of the leg here. And I don't take a lot of oil. Not as much as for the back, just fingertips. Start just at the ankle, above the heel. Slide the oil up to the top, just under the butt. Bring it back down. And kind of cupping and gripping. This is a bit of petrissage. It's not quite petrissage, but almost a petrissage move. And we bring that up, and we're basically just sliding the oil up, but we're rubbing the calf on the way. And always, like on a leg move, it's really nice if you slide up. And even though we could just take the hands off, it feels better if you slide back down as opposed to taking off and starting again. Keep the constant contact. Third stroke, like I've spread the oil up and I came back down. Then I did this a couple times, spread the oil up, and I come back down. Third time, grab the heel and pull the heel back and grip the calf. Look at my stance. My legs way out alongside the table, bent. I'm keeping my back straight. Okay, once I finish spreading the oil with those 3 up and downs, I'm going to come in and I'm going to do the same move like when we did the back. I guess it was, I guess the first one. Kind of went like that. So we're going to use the same, we're going to use the middle knuckle, basically, the flat. And we're going to put our hands together. And we're going to start above the knee. And I'm going to rub up, giving steady pressure, right up under the butt. My hands stay like that the whole time. Knuckles. I move over a little bit. So I'm doing a little overlap. I'm going to do 3 strokes up. And then I basically, it's the same kind of thing as when I was going up. And I slid back down with my hands. I don't have to do that, but it's nice to keep the constant contact. When I go up for that first knuckle stroke on the hamstring, I come back down. I unfold my hands and let them just slide back down, rather than break contact. And I'm going to slide up again with the knuckles, up under the butt, and come back down. Fingertips. No pressing on the back of the knee, just above the knee. Now when you come up for the outside stroke, you're going to hit a bone right about just before the butt. You hit the hip bone. You want to just open your hands enough to cup that bone, let it slide right about in there. Or maybe sometimes I have to lift off, depending on my positioning. I have to lift this off. Just to go around that bone rather than over it. It never feels good to go over a bone hard. And then slide back down. Then go to the middle. So basically we're doing 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. And then ending on the middle stroke. Does that make sense to everyone, the 1, 2, 3, 2, 1?
No.
No.
Okay. So, 1, inside and middle. Hands together, inside, middle. 1, down. 2, down. 3, down. 2, back to the middle, second position.
Okay.
Down. 1, and down. Okay?
So
One
is
is
one.
the inside,
Inside,
2 is the middle, 3 is
3
the
is the
outside.
outside. 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. And then,
twice, all of them.
yeah, no, except for the
Third one.
except for the third one. It's 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. And then we're going to do a motion like this. To the middle, to the middle. We're going to be kind of rubbing with the thumb.
To number 2?
Yeah, we basically go up the 2 line, if we'll call it. We'll number them for now. When you get up under the butt, like I started with my hands out like this, both sides.
Are these like meridians you're talking about?
No.
No.
So then I come up under, and when I get to under the butt, I don't want to get my hands up Intergenitals.
I was wondering about that.
So we get to the top,
Unless
and
it's
I'm
a
doing the
tantric
same
massage.
stroke. I'm doing the same stroke, but I'm keeping my knuckles in.
Okay.
I can do the thumb strokes. I'm really working right through here.
Okay.
And I'm doing the thumb stroke. And as soon as I get to her upper thigh, I'm folding my knuckles in so that I don't have any danger of coming up into her genitals. And then I go under the butt, slide back down, I'm still doing this motion back and forth, dun, dun, dun. And this hand can be out.
Are you showing people wrapping, like how to, did I miss that part? Like how to drape the sheet so that that's...
And then when you get back down, so I'm basically going up and then down. And that's the back of the leg. That's the back of the calf.
Thigh.
Hamstring, thigh.
You're doing good. Stay with us, Peter. You're doing
Yeah,
good.
also starts thinking about
Back down.
draping.
I'm getting
And
hot.
then I'm gonna transition. I'm gonna transition to the calf by splitting my hands. My right hand is gonna go up and go to the outside. My right hand goes up and it goes to the outside under her butt and to the side of the hip. My lower hand is gonna come down to the ankle at the same time. So I'm basically just splitting my hands like that. And then I'm gonna bring my hands back together. They're gonna meet below the knee. I'm going to go perpendicular to her calf. I'm going to be petrissage. This is petrissage, like little
Ducky things.
ducky things.
Show it for the camera. You were
Maybe just on her thigh. Or thigh.
Petrissage. So we're getting complete contact against the webbing of my hand. And I'm leaning into it the way that I talked about getting the shoulder involved, lining up with the fingertips. Back and forth. Right down. Take your petrissage and make it miniature when you get down on either side of the Achilles tendon. Wiggle, 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 wiggle.
Nice relaxing, Bailey.
Pick it up. Pick up the whole leg. Do that. Take it out to the end. Layer down.
Yeah.
Wrong side.
Nice.
I've lost
Okay.
my partner. She's never going to get up from that.
And then the other side. Roland?
All right, so we've just done the wiggle and the stretch and the pulling out of the leg. And before we would switch legs, normally if we're working on the person, we're doing that same. We've worked down their back. We're gonna come in and we're gonna do like we did the rub on the back of the legs with the middle knuckle. We're gonna do a rub on the. So don't hold your leg up. Let me hold it for you. And we're gonna do a middle knuckle rub on the feet. Down to the point of the knuckle, between the heel and the ball of the foot. We're going to keep steady contact and steady pressure. Foot. So we're rolling basically from this knuckle, the top knuckle, to the middle knuckle.
Feels like that
Or
would
middle
tickle.
knuckle to the...
Does it tickle for some people?
For some people, this will tickle. And then you just back off the pressure. So I'm actually starting on the bit long part of my knuckles between the bottom two. So I'm rolling this flat to this flat.
Do you
This
use
flat
oil?
to this flat. No need to add more oil. Just use the oil that's on your hands already. Don't need basically any oil. Don't worry about it. There'll still be oil on the person probably. So just do a couple times back and forth. It doesn't have to be a lot. And then we're gonna squeeze, squeeze, squeeze up the outside of the foot. Careful of the ankle. Don't grab the ankle bone with that.
So, could you describe what you're doing?
I'm basically giving some tiny compression squeezes to the outside, little pinch squeezes to the outside of the foot.
It doesn't look like. It looks like you're kind of including the whole foot in some way.
I'm doing this half. If you divided the foot in half,
Yeah.
I'm doing
okay.
this half. So I'm squeezing down the edge of the foot.
Yeah. So it's not the tiny little pinchy things that I've done on the foot. It's the bigger.
I guess it's bigger. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but okay. When we're done with that, I get my fingertips in the grooves of between the pinky toe and the ring toe, and my other hand in the first groove on the other side between the big toe and the index toe. And just wobble back and forth with my thumbs and my fingertips. Wobble, 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 move down one, back up. Then get into the groove on the inside, the inner grooves between first, I think you guys know what I mean.
Metatarsals.
Metatarsals, getting all the grooves basically. There's 2 sets of grooves you can work with, 2 at a time. And you just go up and down.
Watching that makes my insides feel funny. It's like,
and then you're going to give compression. This is compression squeezes. You're going to compress the foot. Just squeeze it all over. The foot can take a fair amount of pressure, exception B's right foot. Some people cramp easily in their calf. You don't want to squeeze this inside of the foot very hard at all. Even a touch sometimes with someone who's easily cramping. I stay away. If I have clients that have cramp issues, I don't even work this part of the foot. So squeezes up and down.
popular guy.
And then, this is a Thai massage move. We're going to take the heel and the foot, pivot the foot a little bit, and just lean back, grab and pull. So we're going to pull from the hip. And turn, basically, so we do the outside, pull, turn the foot a little bit, pivot, grab, pull back, wobble, 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 down, and do the other foot. Okay. All right.
Thanks, Pete.
Got it.
This is weird being the person down because you can't see.
We're going to do a little knuckle rub up the foot, across, and back to where we started. So we're going crossways across the foot, and back down. Switch hands, outside of the foot, little pinchy squeezes. Up and down the edge of the foot. Get our fingertips in the grooves of the metatarsals, and give a little wobble to the foot. Same thing on the inner groove. I'm going to give compression squeezes to the whole foot. I'm going to grab the heel, the foot, pivot a little bit, pull back, pull on the whole leg. Turn over, pull this way.
To that part.
Grab underneath the foot and just wobble down.
Lynn.
Roland. Okay, we're going to take just a very little bit of oil. We're not going to dip our whole fingertips in this time. I'm going to take 2 fingers width. That's it. Rub it in. We're just going to come up the sides of the neck. Just a little bit up the sides. Don't want to do a lot of motion to the top. Like, we don't want to go away from the lymph glands. We usually want to massage toward the lymph nodes. Lymph nodes. So normally, we do a little bit of massaging away from the lymph nodes, but we don't do a ton. So I'm not going to go a lot of oil going up. Better to have it going down. So I'm going to cup under the head. I'm going to roll to one side. Start with the left side. This is a woman under me. And so I'm going to cup her ear. I'm not going to like crunch her ear or have it folded over. Make sure I'm kind of cupped the ear with my hand. I take the knife edge of my hand, have it on the shoulder. This is why I need the t-shirts to be off, because I'm going to start out here. I'm going to do a little bit of traction of the neck. Her neck is turned like this. I'm going to push it, pull it a little bit that way. As I come up with my knife hand, my edge of my hand
Against her neck.
With your
against your
hand.
neck. Yes. And so basically I'm pivoting the edge of my hand up her neck, underneath her skull, and then I'm going to go back down the way I came. When I get back down, I'm going to flatten out my hand, and I'm going to pull a little bit under her skull with my down hand as I push out with this hand. That gives a nice stretch through here. So just repeating that, I'll do it for the other side, for the people watching. Turn her head this way. And I would do that twice. I would come up and down, one. Come up and down, twice. I'll do the other side. I can start with the flat of my hand and turn into the edge of my hand. So I'm pivoting my hand to the edge as I roll up her neck. As I pull her neck a little bit over, her whole head I mean, a little bit over toward her other shoulder. Got my elbow on the table. Come up under her skull. And then back down the way I came. Back along the trapezius. Pushing out to the shoulder, pushing down. I'm adding pressure all the way along. I'm pulling her head this way as I push her shoulder away and down. And you can come up a bit on the front of the shoulder too. Sometimes I'll do a stroke. The first one I'll come up and down. And I'll come up right here on the top of the shoulder, come off, back up again, pivoting to the edge of the hand. Watch, look at how my torso went. Watch how my torso started way over here, and I'm pivoting just the same principle as when we did panther paws, a windshield wiper. I'm coming over, so I'm lining my shoulder up with my fingertips. And then I come back down. Pushing away, pushing down and away on the shoulder as I pull the skull toward me. I slide my fingertips back up, and for this camera I'm going to work on this side of her neck. When I come down with the pad of my thumb down, this is the SCM, this cord of muscle that runs right down. Sternocleidomastoid, SCM. I'm just basically going to come down, bolstering my thumb with my fingertip. That's so I don't have all the pressure on the bottom of my thumb. That's a place that can go on people really easily if I have all the torque on my lower knuckle. So I'm very careful to bolster my thumb with my fingertip. And I run the pad of my thumb down, following the cord, down to the collarbone, and then run the pad of my finger along the collarbone out to the edge. And then run my fingertips back up. I might do it again. I might run the pad of the thumb down like I did the first time, or depending on how someone's SCM is standing forth or not, sometimes some people I can't do this on, some people I can. Do a little squeeze the way we did on the outside of the feet. A little pinch squeeze down the SCM. It's like gripping that little cord in the neck.
What's the SCM stand for?
Sternocleidomastoid.
Okay. That's you.
Sorry.
That's my uncle's name.
So pinch all the way along. So that's it's just a variation on the first move, which the first move was just running the pad of the thumb down. The second type of doing that move is just pinching and then running the thumb alongside again. When I finish that move, I'm going to run my fingertips up under the occiput and do circles. So my fingertips circles under the skull on the soft part.
Instant bliss.
1, 2, 3, move over. 1, 2, 3, move over. 1, 2, 3. And you can, of course, switch to the other side, do the same thing, blah, 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 run it down, pinch it down, run up underneath the skull, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Can you just show us where the S or something is, the line? Okay. I just didn't see it.
It's right under, it's basically just if you drew a line underneath the earlobe,
Okay.
it would be right underneath and then straight down, and then it doesn't go, it actually, it does run down there. It runs in a fork.
Is it tendon?
Yeah, it's muscle.
Mm-hmm. You can kind of feel it actually in
I
myself.
can feel something.
Yeah,
it feels
the
good
kind
to
of
pinch
sticks
it
out.
out.
Or to scrum it.
Yeah, it's as tight as guitar strings on most people too. So I'm running out of pulling up, and run, fingertips. Straighten out the head, squeeze. I'm holding one hand, I'm supporting her head. I'm squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. I'm going down the stem of the neck like that. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. 2, 3, 2, 1. Grip under the head, pull, traction. I'm gripping underneath the occiput and I'm pulling back like my fingers are in claws, but I'm also careful of my fingernails. I'm pulling back and then I'm raising the head while I'm still pulling back, giving a nice stretch to the neck. And then I would have my towel ready. You have folded towels on all the tables.
Towel.
Okay, I've got her head like that. I've still got her head. Got my towel. After I do that stretch, I bring her down. She's on the towel. I'm ready to move on. Nice. Okay, so I could have done the back of the head. We'll roll it for the camera this way. Fingertips like a rake. You don't change the angle. Most people, when they do head massage, they do like that. It's not as good as the rake. I learned this from Donnie Adergatis. Some of you remember Donnie. And so basically I'm raking her head. And it's just awesome. And you just gotta you keep changing, you lift out every now and then to get a different position so you don't pull the hair. But you can basically rub back and forth over the hair. But once you move, if I move too far, I'll pull her hair. So I gotta keep lifting up and getting a new position. And then, if I'm doing the middle, I'd stand up like this. My hands are like this. My fingertips are like a rake.
That's why I actually go to a hairdresser so that they'll do that. Right?
Yeah. But a lot of them will do this. And that's not quite as good in my opinion. So the rake, and then you can also, like if the pillow's high, the person's head is more of an angle, you go like in this direction. She's a little bit low, the angle isn't as good. But sometimes I would do, if the pillow's high, I'd get the head like that.
Oh, so that's why it's called
give,
scritches, because
give,
that
yeah.
sound?
You give really firm. Do a squeeze. I'm not going to use oil for now. I'm just doing a squeeze down the middle of the arm. Just like a pinch squeeze, just like we did, back and forth. And switch hands, run down the arm the other side. It's kind of be gripping. This side you just grip the bicep in the middle and just pull, squeeze. And you can reach underneath with your fingertips, squeeze the forearm underneath. Posterior of the arm. So I'm basically squeezing it. You're only seeing my thumb, but I'm basically squeezing underneath with my fingertips, doing 3 different rows, 3 different meridians on the side and right under the bone, under here. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. When we get down to the hand, just kind of squeeze and spread. Beware of doing this on elders. I have split an elder's hand whose skin had lost its elasticity, and I split it right down the middle doing this. So if you're working on an elder, if any of you are in home support, you want to apply your massage skills to an elder, you squeeze one hand at a time, you will not run into a problem.
Nice advice.
One hand at a time. Don't see the toes.
I'm gonna hear that story like 20 times.
And now we're gonna be squeezing running the fingertips up the fingers on the tops of the and bottoms of the fingers, and we go to the sides of the fingers. Run it up the next 2 fingers, up the sides of the fingers, last finger. Always supporting the hand with the other hand. You're supporting the hand as you go when you do these outer ones. And you reach down, support the hand. You just do this once. I'm doing it twice just to demo it. turn the hand over about that angle from the body. You lace your fingers in between your pinky. Some people have super tight hands. You can't go with your pinky on the other side of the middle finger. You have to go on the near side and go on the near side and leave the middle finger like that if their hands are super tight and they won't stretch far enough. Otherwise, it feels better to have your pinky go overlapping on the other side and then have your other pinky underneath there like that. Okay? And you come down and you go press, press. We're going to walk up the hand, up the middle groove of the hand between these two fingers. So walk just like a panther paw with the thumb tips. And then come down on the outer groove. When you get down to the bottom, this is the part everyone loves. You just press and stretch, press and stretch. And then you can do this.
Involuntary smile.
And then I just turn it over, a bit of squeezing underneath, lay it back down. So